You're tuned into the It's Real podcast with your hosts, Kayla Calendar and Andrew Yagi. Each week, we'll talk about what happens behind the scenes working full-time in real estate and share with you real-life stories, our successes and failures as we work to help consumers and industry professionals reach their real estate and real-life goals. Here we go.
It's episode 66 of the It's Real podcast. I'm Kayla Calendar, and I'm a mortgage lender.
And I'm Andrew Yagi. I'm a real estate agent.
Hi, Andrew. How's it going?
I am doing swell, Kayla. How are you?
Wonderful. I feel like I went outside this morning and it felt like spring. When you go from negative 20 to like positive 10 to 20, it's like heat wave.
I know it feels great and it is encouraging. And, again, even looking at the calendar, we're almost all the way through January. We're in kind of the last week. And man, I feel like the month has just flown by.
Oh, I know. I don't know what it is. I think it's kind of like coming off of the holidays and the whole circle back effect. Like, hey, let's circle back after the holidays. And what happens is your calendar gets completely filled up with things that you were going to do like at the beginning of December. So I don't know about you, but I have a lot of coffees and meetings and getting together with just different companies and people wanting to talk about home ownership. It's kind of the circle back effect is what I call January.
Yeah, no, I haven't really thought about it, but I would say that's really accurate. I've seen a lot of people post on social media just talking about how overwhelming January is, maybe because of that circle back effect, like people posting it's like I feel like it's day 46 or day 273 of January or whatever. And, just feeling like they can't keep their head above water. Do you kind of feel the same?
I do. And I think about the pressure that we put on ourselves, like new year, new me, and I'm going to do all these things like I'm doing dry January, right? Like that's not hard for me to do, but like think of the expectations that we put on ourselves too. Like I'm going to read books and I'm going to do this and I'm going to work out and eat healthy and the kids are back in school and all these things that kind of compound. How can it not be overwhelming? We put a lot of pressure on ourselves as a society to just, have a whole new us, I feel like sometimes. Do you do that to yourself, Andy? I guess I don't do a ton of that to myself, but what about you?
I do. And I feel like I have a little bit more capacity than the average person. But with that, it's like, hey, I've got huge fitness goals that I never quite seem to nail. But hey, I want to do maybe 100 push-ups a day, or, I'm going to commit to playing guitar every day. And I want to read a book every day and whatever. And like, I haven't been getting a lot of it. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned, like, it's really good to have, huge aspirations. But it's also to give yourself grace because, hey, life happens and life happens for everyone depending on your situation. In my case, having a number of businesses, flying, doing corporate contract pilot work, having 3 kids, being involved in a ton of activities. We've had, I don't know if we talked about it, but kind of our church, our Catholic church and school, the church had, kind of a fire in their office complex, which displaced the church and the school. And so doing a lot behind the scenes, just volunteering, helping them stay on their feet in a temporary location. And so just, kind of between community and family and real estate and life, there's a lot going on.
Wow. Yeah, that is a lot. I don't know how you do it, Andy, because you do have kids and you fly and you're doing it all. And it's like, at some point it's like, we need to have a Andy Hack Day, Andy Hack podcast. We'll have to do that in the future.
Well, I'll give my hacks if you will, Kayla.
I will. And I will give another hack, just a little update. Like last time, I think we talked about this, but that Remarkable tablet, for anyone listening, still is, I use it so much, but I still have, I've started going back, Andy, to like a physical planner, like one of these, because what I've noticed is when it's in my electronic calendar, sometimes like it's gone after a while and I can't go back and visually see it as much. Maybe that's just my outlook, but still using both, and that's going strong. And that was something you recommended to me, 2 years ago, the Remarkable. So
You know what I think you should do, Kayla? I think, so like with my Remarkable, I make like a custom PDF where I start the week and I kind of have a week planning sheet and then I have daily planning sheets as well. So I actually go through it, and I haven't been as good lately because I've been using some more digital stuff and I kind of go back and forth. But I think just having the daily pages, and so I have a whole week laid out, I really like that because then I can go back and I can say, okay, man, I'm missing this tidbit. I went to look at Kayla's house and I know I made some notes, and when did I do it? So I'm going to go look at my calendar and I'm going to jump back to that, page in my Remarkable, and I'm going to find my notes. And I really like that piece, but hey, it's all about what works for you.
Well, what is also nice about the Remarkable is you can have the access on your phone. So if you don't have it with you, I pull it up on my phone and it's just a little app and it has all of your notes in there and it's super easy. So it is electronic, like it goes with you everywhere. So it's kind of nice.
I think, we talk about productivity and you reference hacks. I think we should do kind of an episode on the Remarkable sometime and just kind of talk about, why we love it, how we use it. Because I know there are others that I've talked with, about it and who are using it and who really love it as well.
Yeah.
I call it my smart piece of technology that also kind of prevents me from getting, sidetracked just because like I can't have a random thought and think, oh, if I was on an iPad, I'm going to open a web browser and I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, or I'm going to open the Facebook app or whatever it is. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. It kind of keeps you just focused on the task at hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Well, yeah, we'll do that. Let's put that in our notes. So anyway, what else is going on in Kayla's world?
It is really picking up, Andy. I am having clients start writing offers. I don't know if you're seeing that, but I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know if it's just finally people are getting past like January, like we talked about, but I am seeing a huge uptick in applications and people deciding to write offers. They're not scared to pull the trigger, but multiple offers we're seeing. But that's pretty much what I am seeing as something new in the last probably week or so are excited buyers ready to make offers and going forward. So that's been exciting. It's been really fun to, see the excitement in their eyes as they take that step.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm starting to see some of the same. We just kind of, with my other agents in my office, we had kind of our team meeting this morning, and we were talking about, prospects, people we've been visiting with, opportunities that are out there, and it's been fun. And then even like right before we went on this morning, got a call from, a couple who I helped, buy a home, and their family's been growing. They've had some other opportunities, and they're like, hey, we thought we'd be here for a while, but, life happens. And hey, we really love working with you. Let's connect and let's put a plan in place because we can't stay here. So that's always really fun, to hear when people are winning and people are reaching their goals. And we're seeing more homes go under contract. But I found it was very interesting, Kayla. I came across an article actually over the weekend. We did some travel down to Arizona, which we can talk about as well a little bit. But as I was kind of on the plane and, kind of waiting for us to take off, I found this article where it talked about only 28% of Americans who plan to buy a home in 2024 actually did. And young buyers feel trapped between a rock and a hard place. And this is attributed to rising home prices. 18% of the respondents said was the most cited challenge. Prices have surged 33% since 2020, further squeezing buyers, who already were contending with, rates that have doubled in that time.
Crazy.
What do you think about that?
I think that it's pretty accurate. I think people get excited to get approved and start, shopping. Clients oftentimes will go and look at homes before they go and get pre-approved. And I think what's happened is they see the homes, they get excited, they go and meet with a lender. And then we are the ones that tell them, like, I know your budget's $1,500 a month, but here's the price that will get you, $185,000, whatever that is. And they feel so defeated because they see their friends or their family in these other homes at such, much more affordable payments. And I think once they see the price of the home and the house versus the payment, I think it's just kind of, it is debilitating to them a little bit. That's what I've noticed. So when I have a call with a client, I never just send them my link to apply, Andy. I don't just say, okay, here you go, apply, we'll talk later. I have a, discovery call. And one of the questions I always ask them is, what are you feeling would be a comfortable spot for you to be in a monthly mortgage payment? And oftentimes, I'll hear people give me a monthly payment and I'm like, that's not what they are going to be able to get into a home. And so I explained up front, like, okay, just so you know, this is going to be about this much. So I try to kind of set it up for them. But to me, I just think that it's kind of the comparison thing. And then they go through it and then they give up. So it doesn't surprise me. I think that if people want to really take homeownership seriously, they really need to look at their budget, because I'm also seeing, Andy, a lot of clients with very high debt or high car payments, things like that. So it's really about prioritizing, because I don't think these rates are going down anytime soon, personally. But
Mhm.
that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, this article kind of talks about, one of the points you just made where, the combination of rising home prices and increasing mortgage rates had forced many Americans to set budgets far below what's typically sold. So survey respondents on average plan to spend a median of 150,000 on a home, which is a figure that falls way short of the national average of $420,000. So, again, we've talked in the past where there are a lot of a lot of older individuals who are out in the housing market. They're buying with cash. How can a first-time home buyer compete with some of these, better positioned buyers who are wealthier and are ready to go? So it talks about them being trapped between a rock and a hard place, which is especially difficult when there just isn't a lot of housing inventory, whether there's not enough new construction or a lot of people are holding on to those homes as well.
And I think too, like around here, the solution might be, well, I'll just do new construction, not a lot of competition. But then you've got special assessments, and then that is kind of sticker shock as well. And that gets to be a lot on a first time home buyer. I think as well, there's some really great down payment assistance options too. But if you're over the income limit, that comes with a little bit higher rate. So, until you really meet with a lender to determine what you can do, I think it's high hopes. And then for some people, it's just not what they really hoped for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but for others, it's like, wow, I can do this. It's all based on, each scenario is so different. But that article, I can see that a lot with a lot of first time buyers for sure.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So let's, kind of compare and contrast that. So we're talking about buyers who are out there in the market, and I kind of want your thoughts on this. And we always talk about, and some people might say excessively, but it matters who you work with. And historically, the 80-20 rule always prevails, where 80% is done by 20%. And can you guess, Kayla, last year, what percent of real estate agents didn't close any deals? When we look at the 1.5 million, licensed agents that are out there. I think we said then, and to qualify that, the prior year, there were like 49 or 47% of agents sold 0 homes.
So I'm going to guess 70%.
You're close, 71%.
71% of real estate agents didn't close any deals. So Andy, is that buy or sell or sales side, like either or?
Zero deals. And maybe to qualify that, so again, we know last year was probably the toughest year in 30 years, Kayla.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw
Since
just
95.
a lot fewer home sales out there. And again, the barriers to entry in real estate and even in mortgage in some ways are pretty low. So again, there are a lot of people that might have a license that hang on to it and say, hey, I'm just going to do something, kind of personal, or, hey, I've got a friend who's coming to me or a relative, I'm going to just do a deal for them. So I always tell people it really matters who you work with, and you want to be working with someone who actually is out there pounding the pavement, doing real estate every day, whether it's mortgage or actively selling real estate, because this is one of your largest assets, or some individuals' largest assets. And so obviously we saw, the housing market being challenging, made it hard for some people to do deals. On the other hand, and probably to qualify it a little bit more, there are some individuals out there who might be working licensed in maybe an admin role out there that they're maybe not out there actively doing it. So that's going to skew the numbers, a little bit as well. But it's really, really interesting. There have been fewer agents that are entering the industry, which does mean, kind of from this survey, that agents have on average more than 3 years of experience, and agent productivity is up for those who are really, really active out there as agents. So it's kind of an interesting tidbit.
It is interesting. And I think too, it's like, the reason that we talk about who you work with matters is because you and I have seen what it's like. Andy, what it's like to work with a lender who's done a onesie twosie deal. I know what it's like to work with a realtor that's done a onesie, twosie deal. And not to say that those people shouldn't, be able to do transactions and shouldn't be able to get business, but we are in the experience business, you and I. We know what it's like when we take a client from start to finish. They have an exceptional experience. The stress is off their shoulders. They don't have to worry. And we want that to continue for every client. And so it's not this, when we talk about, who you work with, who you work with matters. It's for you. It's for your own benefit, for you to get the best bang for your buck, for you to have the best experience. And, working with someone that has that experience is going to get you there. So that article just blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. Right on. I'd be interested to see some stats for mortgage lenders. I don't know if anyone ever tracks it or studies it, but it'd be very interesting.
I was at a conference a year ago, and if you closed, I believe it was over 20 million in volume. So remember, mortgage lenders, it's not purchase price, it's loan volume. So if you're buying an $800,000 home and you're putting 50% down, we go off of volume.
Sure.
So we said if you funded over 20 million in volume, and that's probably, depending where you live, that's probably like 60 units maybe a year, like people that you've helped. And you were in the top 1% in the nation if you helped 20 million. And that's, I think it's a pretty decent number to hit, but to be in the top 1%, that's pretty significant. And I know there was an article back that said there was like in 2020, there was like 400 and some thousand lenders, and now there's like 95,000.
Wow.
So in 5-6 years, people used to just be able to pick up the phone. I remember clients calling me and saying, hey, my other lender won't answer. It was because they were so busy with the refi boom and they just didn't have time. And so I remember certain lenders almost like cherry picking who they'd help. Like, okay, this one's not worth the time. Like, and that's terrible, right? But those people that were in it for those easy, layups, they're just not in the business anymore. And that's okay, and those that are in it are here the strong will survive, basically.
But is it bad? So, they were maybe being a little bit too selective in their cherry picking, but I look at like our business, like I always say, we really focus on marketing first. So we work with more sellers than buyers. In fact, we work with not a lot of buyers. We only want to work with those that are really, really serious. You talk about individuals who want to go and, they might tour some homes before they're even pre-approved. We're not really interested in working with those individuals. Like we only have so much time in a day. And so we only want to work with the individuals who are really serious, who are teed up, who are ready to go. Because statistically, we want to be showing someone 5 or fewer homes before we're putting something under contract. If we're just going out there and showing them, anything that they've popped up on Zillow, it's a frustrating experience. And frankly, it's not something we're interested in. So maybe we're cherry pickers too.
But you know what, though? At some point you have to be. It's like, I'll get someone, Andy, that is wanting to get approved with me and 5 other lenders, and they're not in contract and they're spinning their wheels. And what will you do? And it's like, I want to work with someone who wants to work with Kayla and what I can offer you, because it's more than just one number. It's more than just one thing. And truthfully, if we did this for every client, we wouldn't be able to help as many clients as we know we could if we're spinning our wheels. So, I totally get that. It's a happy medium for sure.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the new year, Kayla. I know we've talked, on and off camera that, there could be some challenges and, the market, it could be a little bit of a mixed bag. Again, we already see it warming up and like we talked earlier in this episode, but, kind of the thing that we're really focusing on this year is, again, working with those that are really serious, working with those who want a good experience, good communication, great marketing for their home. And then, we're kind of looking at some of these market struggles as well, where, hey, there's really low inventory. And like we talk about in your market, Kayla, there's a lot of new construction. I see there are some home builders out there, some emails that, come into my inbox where they're offering, they've got a ton of inventory sitting there because there's a lot of competition. And so they're offering agents a $5,000 bonus, and even the buyer might get $10,000 towards closing costs or upgrades. We don't have that problem here, but the problem we do have is not enough homes and not new construction. And, we've kind of talked about it on and off a little bit, but we've been kind of doing, our first spec home build, Kayla, and we're really excited. We should pretty much have it done. I was just kind of walking through it a little bit the end of last week a little bit.
Wow.
We kind of have the kitchen in, everything's coming together. We've got kind of the millwork people in, kind of trimming everything out and putting doors in. And so it's been really kind of fun seeing this come together. And, now we're kind of brainstorming, hey, what do we do this year? And we're looking at building even some more affordable, maybe some smaller homes, just because, again, really keeping affordability in mind and just looking at not everyone needs a monster home.
Yeah, it's true. And a lot of times like they still want something new, but not something massive. So that is awesome. Has it been what you thought it would be building a spec home?
It's actually gone better than I would have imagined. We're at about 4 months, just a hair over 4 months here today. And so to see something go up with, no experience generaling our own project in about 4 months time, like that's fairly unheard of. A lot of people say, 5 would be a quick build. 6 is probably pretty typical. So really impressed with our team, our project manager, and then all of our subcontractors. And again, the big thing is we're building relationships with these people too. And,
Right.
I know you're big on having a relationship-based business, and so am I. And, that's my favorite kind of business. When I'm getting referrals, whether it's from another banker or lender, or I'm getting referrals from friends that I've served in the past. And, and then they're asking me for other vendors like, hey, I need insurance. Who do I talk to? Or, I need, who are my options for home inspectors? Who would you go to for a new vehicle? I mean, whatever. It's just all about like, kind of mastering your sphere and your relationships out there. And if you treat people well and you reciprocate, like things are going to go well for you and your business.
Amen. And just being a trusted advisor. I think that if people are trusting us with likely their biggest purchase, it's really cool when they can also trust us for anything else. Do you know someone? Do you have someone? And I want to be that for my clients. And that also keeps me in touch with them as well. And it's kind of just that giving back, that feeling of like, I want to help you. I want you to succeed. So I definitely agree with that, Andy.
Awesome. Well, Kayla, any big plans for the week or weekend? Any? Are we in gala season still? Do you have any charity events or travels or conferences?
Oh, well, nothing in stone yet, but I am going prom dress shopping this weekend with my niece. So
Cool.
that will be fun. 'Tis the season. So that's always a fun thing. She's 17 and she's coming to town. So it's that time of year. So, but the gala season, it will be here probably about March and April. So you'll see a lot of that. But what about you? Because you were just in Arizona. Are you
Yeah.
during the weekend taking it easy?
I think we're going to take it easy this next weekend. I really haven't looked at the calendar, but I'm pretty sure we're just kind of hanging out. I think we've got some family coming to the area, actually maybe to Fargo, I think, for some hockey tournaments. So we might actually be up your way a little bit. But yeah, we kind of escaped. Katie and I went down to Arizona. My grandpa, Don Yagi, just turned 90 years old. So we
Wow.
went down and celebrated with him. Yesterday was his birthday.
Oh,
So there was a party down there. So we got to hang out a little bit and hang out with our some
awesome.
cousins. I've got like 24 first cousins. So not all of them were down there, but we saw a variety of them and aunts and uncles and friends. So it was a really, really great weekend getting away. We got home really, really late last night, but we had to come home. Most people were coming home this morning, but we had to get home to wake up to our Ivy, our youngest, who turned 2 this morning. So
Cute. Look how happy she is. What a fun day. Oh, she looks so pumped.
yeah, no, she's super happy and
Oh,
loves Minnie Mouse and everything like that. So yeah, so I don't know. We just have kind of I'll call it a regroup, week, so to speak, and catching up with people. Or what phrase did you coin earlier in this episode about
circle back.
the circle back? Yeah, I'm
The
doing a
circle back effect.
lot of circling back. So yeah, it's going to be a busy, kind of fun week.
I
So
love it. Well, as always, it's a pleasure to see you and catch up. And I hope our viewers, our listeners always get some type of tidbit from this. And, if you're listening, thanks for joining in. And it's been has it been 2 years now? We've been doing this 2.5,
this is
Andy?
the start of year 3, Kayla.
3. Yeah, look at us go. Love it.
Well, Kayla, go out there and crush the week.
I will if you will.
We'll see you.
See you later.